Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel. And here on this channel I start things off with, hey, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Please enjoy this digital confection I found for you on the internet. How did I know it was your birthday? I don't know. A while back I did a video comparing timing chains to timing belts, and those are two different ways that you can turn the timing components with an engine to keep the camshaft and the crankshaft both running together. You can also use gears. I need to put that out there, but that's not a very common thing in gasoline engines. But for the most part, there's timing chains and timing belts. And many of you fell into the timing chain camp because you didn't have to worry about it breaking and all this other stuff. You didn't have to service it. You didn't have to go through this expensive service every so many thousand miles and all that kind of thing. The chain is in there and it's done. That's what many of you argued. I argue that a timing belt, I like a timing belt because I like being able to change out a component, a serviceable component, much like changing the oil. You know, it's a good thing for the engine. Changing out a timing belt, keeping everything in time, that's what I like. That's just a personal preference of mine. Timing chains, I think we can agree, are much more difficult to replace than timing belts. They weren't really designed to be replaced. As I mentioned, they're designed to be in there and that's it. So whose idea was it to sort of combine the two technologies and come up with a wet timing belt? What I mean specifically by this is timing belts traditionally are on the outside of the engine. So they're outside the crankcase, they're not exposed to engine oil or anything like that. So you can remove all the timing covers and everything, look at a timing belt, and there's going to be no engine oil anywhere, or there shouldn't be any engine oil that you should see. Whereas a timing chain is inside the engine, inside the crankcase part of things, and it's sometimes even lubricated by the oil in the oil pan because it rotates through that oil. So it's constantly lubricated. Somebody got the bright idea to take these two things and put them together and make a wet timing belt. So in other words, a timing belt that is inside the engine, similar to a timing chain, and that's how they run the engine. That's how they keep the engine in time. And you might ask yourself, well, why the heck would they do that? And the reason is because it reduces friction apparently and makes the engine more efficient. So that's why they would make a wet timing belt. However, in practice, this hasn't lasted very long. And I looked into this because when I was doing the timing chain, timing belt video, many of you came back with, oh, there's some motorcycles out there with wet timing belts. And I looked for motorcycles with wet timing belts on their engines and I could not find them. In fact, the only thing I could find is a mentioning of a kit that you could install in an old Norton motorcycle to, I guess, turn it into a wet timing belt setup. So I couldn't really find much in that regard. However, in the recent past, some manufacturers have decided to use the wet belt strategy. And I think it's interesting to point out the places that these engines are ending up. They're ending up in economy vehicles. So like small, compact, very affordable vehicles is normally what these things are ending up in. So there's the Ford, the Escort, and what else? Fiesta, I think, is another one. There's also a VW 2-liter diesel. Honda even got into this with a 1-liter turbo engine. And before you Toyota lovers get on there and say, oh, that's a dumb thing, Toyota also did this with the Pro Ace is the name of it, and that was the PureTech engine, which was a Citroën Peugeot kind of thing. So I'm finding all of these engines are sub 2 liters or 2 liters or below. The Volkswagen diesel is a 2-liter engine. And I think this is important to mention because anytime you get above 2 liters in an engine, you need a balance assembly. In a 4-cylinder engine, I should be specific about that. So if you have a 4-cylinder engine that is above 2 liters, you're gonna find some kind of balancing assembly in that engine. Anything 2 liters or below, it's not there. And I talked to an engineer about this once, and apparently once you get above in that displacement, those vibrations become an issue because 4-cylinder engines normally fire every 180 degrees. So it's like pedals on the bicycle. So it's like as opposed to like a multi-cylinder engine like a V6 or a V8. They fire more often during the crankshaft rotation. I'm getting into the weeds here, but the point is, they're putting this in economy vehicles. And the problem that's come up is the belt being immersed in the oil. Over time, too soon, let's say. Too soon, that belt just degrades. And once it degrades, that material that was the timing belt is now clogging the oil pickup. Shortly after that, the engine is starved for oil and explodes or seizes up or no longer functions, is probably the best way to say it. So the wet belt did not work out at all. And this is what they were trying to claim, is that you could extend the life of the timing belt with this because it also keeps down heat. So that timing belt that is not wet, that is outside the engine, that heats up as it operates. So that's a thing. That's a real thing. So timing belt heat is a thing. Immerse it in oil, you help dissipate some of that heat. Unfortunately, what the belt is made from and what the oil is made from, I think are a little too similar, and as a result, they eat each other, or the oil eventually eats the belt and it causes this problem. And they had said when they made this design that it was going to increase the life of the belt, again, because it reduces the heat. Well, it didn't work out that way. It seems that these belts, and not just one manufacturer, and all of these manufacturers that I mentioned, I think Ford is at the top of the list with their Ego Boost that they did. But like I said, VW is also in this, Peugeot, and Citroen, maybe? I'm not sure. I know there's a couple of French ones. Those that fall under that PureTech label. Again, so what's happening is these belts are failing and the material from these belts are clogging pickups and killing these engines. Here's the interesting thing. I've been mentioning this whole time that these all seem to have ended up in economy vehicles, these vehicles that people buy for affordable transportation. And here's a catastrophic failure of an engine in a vehicle that when the engine fails, it's probably not worth replacing that engine. Additionally, if you think about it, it's a lot more difficult to replace a timing chain than a timing belt, as I mentioned. Well, a wet timing belt is probably going to be equally difficult to change out as a timing chain. So you're going to have to disassemble the engine to get down to that timing belt to do it. So that's going to be a more expensive service on a vehicle that's meant to be an affordable transportation alternative kind of thing. So it's funny that they did this. And I think this goes back to a theory that I've had about just about anything manufacturers ever do, and that's about cost. I don't think they went to a wet timing belt because they felt that, you know, there was going to be less noise or more efficient or all this other kind of stuff. I think they could have easily done it with a chain, but somebody said, hey, where can we save money in the manufacture of this engine? And they said, well, rubber's cheaper to make than metal. That's my theory. And they're like, ooh, let's run with that. Let's put these timing belts in these engines instead of chains and save a whole bunch of money on manufacturing by doing that. I don't know exactly how much they made, but I can say that I'm pretty sure that molding a piece of rubber and, you know, the stuff that's involved in making a timing belt is not the same as forging metal and putting those pieces together into a chain. I think that's why they did it. So the whole premise in my mind is completely backfired because you tried to make an affordable vehicle, but basically you created a time bomb for somebody who can't afford it. So that's my thought on that. I'm just going to leave it there, because I think I said all that I needed to say as far as this is concerned. So I'm going to link in the description where I got my information, all that kind of thing. So if you want to explore further where I got this, if you know where there's a motorcycle with a wet timing belt, I'd love to hear about it, because like I said, I couldn't find it. And I don't think this is a very good idea, a wet timing belt. I think it's a way to save money. What do you think? Leave me your opinions down in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading them. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this today and remind you to be safe, have fun, stay dirty. Also visit ericthecarguy.com if you have any automotive questions. Thank you again for watching today. I will see you next time.